I think
Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Let's Have a Conversation podcast, where many of you know the host is Malik Berger, and I am the guest interviewer for today. My name is Janice Brown, and I'm happy to be here with you all. I just want to say that Malik is a very good friend of mine, and I took the opportunity to be the guest interviewer on his podcast tonight. We are going to interview him because it's always good to hear from the person behind the scenes, who is Mr. Malik Berger. So we're going to actually have him come in the next little bit. But first, I want to just say how I met Malik. Malik is, like I said earlier, is a very good friend of mine that we met here online. And ever since I met Malik, he's been such a great force in my life. Many of you who know Malik would know that Malik is very no nonsense, straight up, to the point. And I guess we just connect that way because we share similar morals. And I knew very quickly that Malik and I would be great friends. And yes, we met each other virtually, but we can get we can talk about that at a later time. I'm gonna welcome my friend, your host for the Let's Have a Conversation podcast, Malik Berger. Come on in, Malik. Hello, 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 sir.
hello.
How are you?
I am good. I am currently tagging people to make sure they know that we are live. So I've been
I
doing
can't
that
hear
while
you,
you've been
Malik.
talking. You can't hear me? You
Are
can't
you
hear
there?
me? Yeah.
I'm not hearing anything.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
And I'm
Hold on.
okay, just give us a moment, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are listening, give us a moment.
Can you hear me now?
No, I can't. Um,
Do you have anything muted? Can you hear me now? Go out and then come back in.
I can't hear you.
Oh boy. You still can't hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Everyone can. It looks like some like I don't believe so.
Oh boy. Everybody can
Hold
hear me.
on. No.
You still can't hear me.
Okay,
Can you
I
guys
will
hear me?
come out in 1 second.
Hold on, guys. We're going to fix it.
I don't know why I'm not hearing him.
Okay.
Amen.
Go out and come back in, they said. They hear us both. Okay, what she got? Janice, are you there?
I don't know why. No. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You can hear me, but I can't hear you. I'm not sure. Give me 1 second. Let me check the audio.
Sorry, guys. We're going to get this fixed. Okay. Let's see. But while she's fixing it on her end, I am excited tonight.
It seems like it's me. I don't know why
So
I'm not
Janice, how
hearing.
about she's there? He
Like
can.
the speakers on my end, when I click my Mac speakers and I test the audio, it doesn't. I don't even have a test. Like it doesn't.
Hold on, guys. So let me do this.
So
So sorry, guys. We're just having some technical difficulties. These things happen. So I am going to just tell her to relog herself back in. Let's see here. But you guys, welcome everybody to Let's Have a Conversation podcast. As she has stated before, I'm glad to have you all come in, but it is different tonight. Tonight is she's interviewing me, so this is a little bit different for me to actually have somebody um, ask me the questions and me not ask them the questions. So I'm a little bit nervous. I can't lie. A little bit excited. Um, I'm excited to have you guys know me a little bit better um, from people that don't know me at all. So let me welcome a couple people into the chat. We have Auntie Robin Sherrod is in the room. We have, let's see, we have my friend Lenora, Evangelist Lenora Vance in the room. Let's see who else we have. We have Mikkel. Hello, Mikkel. Uh, we have my mom is in the room. Minister Katrina. Welcome to the chat. I'm glad you all are here tonight. I'm glad you all decided to tune in and to be a part of the podcast. I'm still waiting for my guest. Okay, so she's back. Let's see. Hopefully, she can hear me now.
I
Can you hear
think it
me?
should be good now.
Janice,
Yes, I'm here.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. We are good. All right.
Finally. Oh my gosh. I was
All right.
like, Jesus be a fence. Okay. I don't know how, like, I don't know if you want me to start over or you want to just pick up from here.
We can just pick up from here. Everybody's here.
Sure.
I do want to let me see here. Welcome everybody. If you have questions, put them here on the side. I have found out a way to put the comments on my screen. Shout out to Mikkel. She's on, so shout out for helping me do that. So if you have questions, you can just put them on the screen. We can see them. We will be able to read them. I've already greeted everybody that's in here. I think my cousin, Pastor Tim, just came in. So hello to him. He said we can hear you both. Okay, good. So Janice, I'm
Yes.
throwing it off over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone that is tuning in tonight. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be in this position, to be able to interview my friend, Malik Berger. I don't know how many years we've been friends, but we've just been friends. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so Malik, let's put the spotlight on my brother and friend Malik. Tell me about yourself. Tell me what's going on, what's happening in Malik's world.
What's happening in Malik's world? Um, right now, as far as I know, only thing that's happening in my world is work and my podcast. For right now, um, I have a podcast coming up in July, so I'm working on that. A night of worship. It's supposed to be a 2 hour night of worship, but people don't cooperate. So I think I may switch that to an hour. So,
Right.
so I'm working on that. Other than that, That's it. I don't have a eventful life. I don't do much. I stay to myself. I try to, at least. So that's all that's going on for me.
Okay, nice. And just to piggyback off of what you just said, in terms of, sorry, give me 1 second here. There we go. I'm so sorry. Give me a second, guys. There we go. That's better. Okay, in terms of the podcast, tell me a little bit about that. Like, how did you, like, how did you start this podcast? What was the inspiration? What did God tell you? Because I know God spoke to you in regards to that. So tell me how Let's Have a Conversation podcast came about. I'm very interested to know.
Okay, so how the podcast came about. So I've always wanted to do a podcast. Um, I actually probably a month ago. I don't know how everybody knows how to use Facebook, but you can go to your memories, and on the day that things is posted, they'll come back in your memories. So probably about 2 years ago, I made a post on Facebook saying, if I had a talk show podcast, what would I name it? So it's always been an idea of mine. I've always wanted to have a space where I could have people on and have them come on and talk about themselves. But I'm not one to bring people on that I don't want to say popular, but not as well known.
Right.
We always see podcasts or talk shows, what have you. We always bring on the people that's well known, the big names in the
Yeah.
city. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to bring on the people that are overlooked, the people that I feel don't have a spotlight shined on them that should have a spotlight shined on them. So Gabby can tell you, I just said I wanted to do it.
Right.
So I did it. Now when I
Nice.
started out, before we came live, Janice was like, "Oh, you've changed some things." So when I started out, I was just on Zoom.
Right.
I
Right.
was like, okay, I don't like how this looks. So I asked around, and I asked people like, "What do you use?" This, that, and the third. So then I upgraded to this. Um,
Nice.
and I like this.
Yes. Yes. It's
This
very
is
nice.
expensive. So I want to tell people, if you
Of
ever
course.
get into the podcast business, don't think that it's going to be free. It can be free. Let me change that. But if you want it to look good, if you want it to look professional, if you want it to not look like, I'm sorry, my heater is kicking on. But anyways, so you're hearing a lot of banging and stuff in the background. Don't think that
Yeah.
something crazy is going on in the background.
I
But
was like,
anyways,
wait a minute now.
but yes, if you don't want it to look like a what they call a bootleg
Yes.
podcast, you're going to have to spend money. So I encourage everyone, to pursue your dreams. Um, Even if you don't have the money, start off small, which I did. Um,
Right.
but then, become better, become bigger, invest in yourself. You hear that a lot, invest in yourself. So I would encourage everybody, if you have a dream, invest in yourself. You're worth it.
Yeah. That's it. You're worth it. I think we that's a takeaway for many of us that are tuning in tonight. And I really appreciate the fact that you said that you pretty much put the spotlight on those who don't have the spotlight, or those who are overlooked, I should say. A lot of
Yeah.
times when those people who are overlooked, they're very quiet, they like the background. And I'm glad that you follow this, calling in your heart to do that for those people, because there's so many of them out there that just need a chance, and you're pretty much taking a chance on those people on your podcast. So
Yes.
don't be surprised that this gets bigger than what it actually is, Malik.
Amen.
That so keep doing what you're doing as it pertains to this podcast. I appreciate it. I'm sure many of the people that you've interviewed on here are thankful for the opportunity just to even have that moment to share where God has taken them.
Yeah.
And now it's your turn. So I want to know a little bit about your hobbies. I want to know what kind of hobbies is Malik into? What do you do for fun on the I'm sure many of the people who are watching, I can see the comments. Many of them who may or may not know you. They want to know what is Malik into? What are some of your hobbies? What are some things that you like to do for fun?
So what are the things that Malik like to do for fun? I like to eat. Um,
What's your favorite food? Let's start there.
my favorite food. Oh gosh, I don't typically have a favorite food, but if I had to pick, I could eat Chinese every day. I love Chinese food. So as far as hobbies, I know eating is not a hobby.
Right,
Um,
right.
but it's yes,
Still,
fine dining because
something you like to do.
something I like to do. I love to go to the movies. I'm a movie person. Um, I don't do much. People would probably
Okay.
think, oh, oh, I like to travel. I do like to
Okay.
travel.
Okay.
And that's a thing that recently has come about with my girlfriend Gabby. We travel a lot. We go amazing cook. Thanks, mom. We travel a lot.
Oh, so hold on. You cook?
So I do cook. So I
Okay,
guess
so hold on,
cooking
hold
could be
on.
a hobby.
Continue. Okay, yes, and continue with what you were about to say. We'll get back to the cooking after. Yes, go ahead.
Somebody said sleep. I love this. I love to sleep. I do. But yes, I love to travel. Being with Gabby, we both love to travel actually.
Nice.
So that's a part of something that we love to do together. But aside from just with Gabby, I do love to go different places. Um, you know, I love I love to decorate. A lot of people probably don't know that about
Nice.
me. I love to decorate. Um, but I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm not a person. He does cook very well. I'm sorry. I'm reading these comments like I'm doing
Oh,
everything. This is
nice.
very
No,
weird
it's
to me.
okay. It's okay. I'll try to keep my eyes on it so that I need to start another question. I will definitely do so. So we're gonna go to the cooking. You cook. So what do you like to cook? Someone says he does cook very well. Our family knows how to cook. Oh yes, that's Tim,
Yeah,
Pastor
that
Tim's,
is Pastor Tim. Yes,
Pastor
that is my
Tim.
cousin.
Yes, Pastor Tim Davis. Yes. Okay. So you like to cook. What do you like to cook?
So I like soul food.
Okay.
I'm the fried chicken, greens, cabbage,
Okay.
baked macaroni, cheese, things like that. Now, if you put something else foreign in front of my face, I probably wouldn't know how to cook it, but I would try.
Right. Right.
But
Well,
I love.
it's usually like that when you're in. I guess wherever you're from, you kind of make the traditional foods from that area. So that's
Yes,
okay too. And then you just learn as you go, right?
absolutely. Yes. But it
Nice.
really came from growing up. I guess we could visit this why I love cooking. And my cousin Tim can attest to this, and my mom as well. We were like the family off of like soul food. You go to Big Mama's house after Sunday, you know,
Nice.
and my great grandmother was in the kitchen cooking. My aunts and things, and then my cousin Timmy's grandmother. She would be in the kitchen as well. So it was always. It brought the family together. So I
Yeah.
relate to cooking to family. It does bring family together, and everybody loves to eat. That's
Yeah.
conversation pieces where you sit around a table and you have those conversations, or you sit around a table and you watch your family argue. I mean, it's just a part
Yeah.
of
Family.
family. So I
Yeah.
relate cooking to family.
Okay. Yeah. And food usually draws everybody together, and really good food
Yeah.
brings everyone together. Someone, Pastor Tim says that's how it was. Our grandmothers were sisters. Speaking on grandparents, that it's perfect. This is flowing so great right
Yes.
now. Tell me a little bit about how you grew up. You said your grandmother. Tell me so to be more specific, were things disciplined? Were things strict? Were things kind of free willed? How were you grown up as it pertains to like the household and as it pertains to church?
Okay, so we're entering to the church world. All right.
Mm.
So growing
We're
up,
going all over. We're going all over.
I wouldn't say that I had a strict household. As many people may know or may not know, I was raised by my grandmother until she passed away. But
Yes. Wow.
strict,
That's
no, I
that's
was
some
very
good stuff.
spoiled.
Hmm.
Um, you know, my household, I just loved growing up with my grandmother. I had
Yeah.
my way. I got to do what I wanted to do. She saw no wrong in anything that I've done. But as far as church goes, everybody knows, mostly everybody knows my family, the Berger family, as the singers. My granny, she sung in church with along with her sister, which is they've both passed away since then, but they used to sing together in church. My grandmother, she sung. My aunt sung. So I come from a singing family. My uncles sung. So growing up, it was big to sing in the church. So where I got my singing from was my cousin Alberta Casey. Actually, she has passed away as well, but she had made this group. It was called Malik and the Angelic Angels. I don't know if any of my
Oh,
cousins
that's a
are
nice
on
name.
here.
I forgot that you sing. Okay, all right.
I do sing.
Totally forgot.
But
Oh my god.
so we had this group. It was me and my some of my cousins, and we would go around and sing. That didn't last long, but anyways.
Yeah.
But then so then I went on to I was always requested to sing before a pastor would come up and preach. So I would always do that. If I wasn't singing, I was made to read their bio. So I would sit there and have to memorize their bio. So I was,
Oh wow.
yeah. So growing up, I was known for that. Oh man. But church growing up for me was just your typical Baptist church, and I'm going to be honest and open tonight. So when you're in a Baptist church, and now I've been introduced to apostolic and stuff like that. But growing up, it's not taboo to go to church and then you see your uncle or your aunt smoking a cigarette or it
Yeah.
was. I didn't have
Yeah.
a strict church background, but we was going to be in church if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I got my faith from my family, but now fast forward into like my 20s, my teens, I went to start staying with my mom. So that opened up the apostolic world, holiness, speaking in tongues, laying of
Yeah.
hands,
Yeah.
these things, that was very taboo for me from where I came from
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I never knew any of that. But I didn't get introduced to it from my mom. I got introduced to it through my cousin Tim and his mother. Sometimes they would pick me up and I would go to church to them, and they were in a holiness church. So I knew a little bit about it, but I got more introduced with my mom and just my mom back in the day. Nothing but skirts, wasn't allowed to wear pants. Very
Yeah.
strict upbringing. Waking up and my mom's praying and putting oil on the doors. So
Yeah.
um,
You
it's
got the
just
best of
new
both
to me.
worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very new. I was not, but it helped increase my faith as of now in my 30s, early 30s, very early. I am 30.
She's
Nothing,
stressing you.
nothing plus. Yes, old school holiness, Timmy. It was very old school
Yeah.
holiness. So yeah,
Okay. Okay. You know what? You said something earlier in regards to like how you were like you have the best of both worlds, which is Baptist and apostolic. It's I guess you're seeing it both from two kind of perspectives, and that's really good because not everyone is from the same type of background as it pertains to that. So you're able to relate with different people. And you're
yes,
also able to relate to, those who are unsaved. You can say, I know both worlds. I know this might look different for you,
yeah,
but, you know, come, let's have a conversation, Again,
absolutely,
let's have a conversation, the title
right.
of your podcast. So it's good to know, like, I totally forgot that you sing. So hopefully you'll be able to bless the saints tonight.
Um,
because I'm sure they'd love to hear your wonderful voice if you want. No pressure.
We'll see.
No pressure at all.
Yeah.
So in terms of church and obviously you have the podcast going for you. You're working. You're doing a lot of things, even though you say that you're not doing much. I think you're doing a lot, Malik, and you should give yourself the credit that you've probably can say that you've come a long way. I think you've come a long way for the years that I've known you. You've always been that person who was no nonsense, very disciplined, very honest, and I think that's what I appreciated about our friendship, which is why I think it's lasted it's lasted so long.
Yes.
Um, Tell me about, and we're still on the church the church scene. Tell me about your calling, your gifts. What do you think God has called you to or called you for, if I may? Because I know sometimes some people don't want to open up, but if I may,
I
you're
told you
welcome.
I don't mind. I'm
Yeah.
very open. So, but I do want to talk about. I'm trying to take over, but I do want to talk about when you said, talking to people um, outside of church, not being saved. I want to say, I have not always been saved. Um, a lot of people are ashamed to say that, and but I've not always been saved. There was a time period where I was out there, and when I was out
Right.
there, I was doing it. I
Yeah.
was doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The drinking, the smoking, having sex. I can be real about that.
Yeah.
So I think it makes me more effective. And I'm not saying some people in the church is less effective, but it makes me effective. I'll just say, I don't want to say more effective, but
Yeah.
effective in the church, knowing where people have been. Because I have a story and we'll talk more, I'm sure,
Hmm.
tonight about it. But so sometimes, when people have never been through anything, have never lived the unsaved life, I think in church it causes that judgment, looking down on others if you've never been there. So you
Hmm.
don't know what people are going through. So you have to meet people where they're at.
Right.
If that person's still smoking cigarettes, still smoking weed, still drinking, meet them there.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
to them. You can't be like, oh, you're going to hell because you're smoking, drinking. No, help them.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
here to help in the church. But what was your question? Because I went off.
Tell me about your, like, what do you think God has called you to in terms of ministry, and what do you think your
Yes.
gift is? Yeah.
So I don't shy away at it. I have been called to the fivefold ministry. And I do believe that I walk in the prophetic. Um,
Very
you know,
heavily, by the way. Let me just stress it. Very heavily, you do. You, I know you're saying it and very casually, but those who know you can probably attest to it that you walk very heavily in it. So I'm just putting that out there because I know you weren't going to.
thank you, Janice.
You're welcome.
So so I believe God has called me to that. Now, do I try to shy away from you think? Anyways, I see y'all's comments on the side. So
I see it too.
oh, I try to, I don't want to say I stray away from it, but I'm not as vocal as I guess I should be, as some people would say, that I walk in that calling. But Mom, we can't see your comments. I don't know why, but anyways, but right now, I'm not in a church.
Okay.
Um, I'm not in a building. Um, I think right now God has, and people may not agree, but I think this is my ministry as of right now. This podcast is my ministry. Um, Bringing people together is my ministry as of right now. Do I long to be in the church? Honest question, honest answer, no. I do not long to be in the church because I know what comes with that. Um, Try not to be too, messy. But I know what comes with being in the church. I've seen just these past couple of months, churches that I visited. I've seen competition, the competition that's in churches. I've seen um, you know, and I know people say, "Oh, well, you're not there for the people." I know you ain't there for the people, but you get mixed up in the drama and the people talk, and then it messes up your church experience.
Yeah.
Because when you know there's a mess going on in the church, when you know that sister so and so is talking about this sister and this brother sleeping with that sister, I mean, it messes up your experience for church.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't care when people be talking about, oh, well, you're not there for the people. Yes, understand that, but it messes with you because you know. So as of right now, I am. This is my ministry. I am okay with that. You know, and I feel, and this is my feeling, that I am very close with God right now in this season of being set aside in the season of walking alone. I'm very satisfied with that, and I've heard God very clearly in this season that I'm in of things that I should do. That's why I'm working on this thing in July. This is
yes.
why I'm doing things the way I'm doing it.
Uh-huh. You said
Ask
a
any question you want to
you
ask
no,
me.
I know. You just said a lot. No, you said a lot. And I guess it's more so that you speaking, I'm sure several people can relate that they're not in a church at the moment. I think I seen one person say that they understand, and many aren't in a building right now. And we always have to remember that we are the church, and that we should be a walking body. Yes, we should not forsake the assembly, but I feel like if God is calling you to set yourself apart, listen to it. Because there might be, like you said, He's speaking to you even though you're not in a physical building. And that's very much so important. And I think above all, you should be listening to the voice of God. So if God says, "Hey, I want you separated and I want to show you some things, and this is where I want you to go," it's something where you have to listen. And I'm glad that you put that out there because it puts a lot of things into perspective to a lot of people online listening to you, Malik. um, I think that there is a lot of people who are not in a building right now. And does it suck? Yes, it does. But I feel like God's still speaking. He's still
Yes.
speaking. He's not because you're not there, he's not gonna say anything to you. Like I said, do I believe in forsaking the assembly? No, I don't. But if God speaks, you gotta follow that. You know. Um, I guess my next piece to the question would be, it kind of escaped my mind, but I'm gonna try and see if I can remember. But the next piece to the question would be, what kind of advice? What kind of advice would you give someone that is in ministry? What kind of advice would you give someone that's in ministry? I know that could be. I know you were probably thinking, what kind of advice can you give anyone out there? But no, I'm specifically saying where you are right now with your walk with God. What kind of advice would you give somebody in ministry?
So the advice that I would give somebody in ministry, so I've got a lot to say about that. Um, so I am going to say it. First of all, if you're in ministry, no, let me go here because I feel that I need to say it. If you feel like you're not supposed to be in the ministry that you're in,
Mm.
and the Lord, Janice don't look like that, and the Lord has told you not to be in that ministry because this is real. So this is really real, and I think it's happening in a lot of churches. Pray about if you need to leave or not. And whoever tells you, oh, you need to stay, you need to stay. Don't sit there and stay in a place that's dead, and you don't need to be in a place that's dead. So don't die in a church to please somebody else
True.
spiritually. Honestly, do not die in that place. That if you feel that you don't need to be there. Um, so so if you're in ministry and you feel that you don't need to be preaching, speaking, it's okay to sit down. It's okay to sit down and be taught. Um, don't be
Nice.
so eager to grab the mic. I will say, for myself, I've never been an eager person to grab a mic. I've never been that person to let me give this prophetic word. But first, let me get the mic.
You're right. Yeah.
I've never been that person to like to be in the forefront. I believe in my time in ministry, in a church, because I feel like I'm still in ministry, but in a church building, I've been there to help. I've been there to help wherever I need to help. So don't be so eager to be in the front, but help the ministry. Yes, my cousin Pastor Tim, many are hungry for the mic and seeking attention. So hungry.
Yeah.
So hungry to get the mic but you're getting the mic and you're not speaking through the mouth of God. You're just speaking out of self. You're speaking out of anger. You're speaking out of hurt. So you're spewing all that onto other people. So heal yourself, people in ministry. Heal yourself before you can heal others. Don't go on that mic spewing out demons. Don't go on that mic trying to say you're prophesying but being messy. Um, you know, Heal yourself. So that's
Yeah.
one point I'd love to say if you're in ministry. Um, and if, like I said before, if you're in ministry and you feel like you don't need to be in that ministry, don't stay in the ministry unhappy, causing discord, causing a bunch of mess, saying the pastor did this, saying this, that, and the third. Speak to your pastor, speak to God first, speak to your pastor, and then you just need to leave.
Yeah.
You're never going to be happy. If you know that you're not happy there, you're never going to be happy. If you know that you're not supposed to be there anymore, don't stay there causing mess and drama. Leave. And don't go
Yeah.
to the next church causing mess and drama. So you need to heal
Yeah.
yourself. And, don't be afraid to be taught. Sit in that pew and be taught before you go up there quoting scriptures and you don't even know what you're talking about. A lot of people, go in the pulpit and just because somebody told you were supposed to preach, you just do it. No, seek some clarity from the Lord before you
Yeah.
go up there in that pulpit. Make sure you know your scriptures. Don't just be saying one scripture out of context and then saying, "Oh, this is what the Bible." No, study that word. Study to show yourself approved. It's in the book. Don't be going
Yeah.
up there just being just speaking just to speak. If you know
Yeah.
that you're called, there's going to be some signs that follow the calling. It's never just going to be, "Oh, I just feel like preaching." It ain't like that. This ain't no, uh, you just felt like preaching overnight. It don't work like that. So yeah, that's my take on it. And I just want to say this is just my opinions before
Yes.
anybody come and attack me and be like, "Oh,
Yes.
he said." This is my opinion. This is how I feel. And before the next question, I do want to acknowledge Laura Deegan, real quick, and then I'm going to shut up. But I want to acknowledge her because I watched a video on Facebook about her story a little bit, and I'm not going to get into it. But she's a literal walking miracle.
Oh, nice.
If you have a chance to go to her page, just go over to her page a little bit. She was near death, but
Well,
God, gave her a second chance. So I thank you for being on my live tonight. I didn't expect you to be on, but okay, I'm done.
that is so funny. It's okay. It's your podcast, Malik. You're like coming off so quickly. I'm okay with you just recognizing if you have anyone else that you want to recognize, because I can see, but I'm not wearing my glasses right now, so it's really tiny. But I'm actually I could probably get it after. I'll get it from you anyways. I was trying to write her name down so that I can. Is it Laura Deacon? You said.
Yes, Laura
Definitely
Deegan,
want.
and yeah, and I have asked her to be on my podcast, so hopefully, we can figure out some dates, and she'll be on. But yeah,
Oh, nice. Okay, well, I'll still check her out, and then when you have her on, I'll definitely be watching.
yes,
I guess my next question, because you said something earlier that was very key, to in terms of ministry, and God will definitely show you signs. I'm paraphrasing. God will definitely show you signs if you're called to, whether it's to preach, to pastor, to be, a prophet, apostle, all of those things. Um, can you tell me a little bit about like how did you, like what signs did you have when you realized that you were a prophetic being? At what point did you
Woo!
realize? I know he knew that none of these questions were coming, so it's so for him it's so unscripted right now, guys.
Yes. It's very unscripted, guys, because she sent me something and asked and showed me the question she was going to ask and has not asked not one. But anyways,
Yeah.
how do I know? Um, I always give credit to my cousin Apostle Robin Davis. And I
Okay,
give credit
Mr.
to
Robin. Yeah.
yes, and I always give credit to my cousin Pastor Tim.
Yes.
Um, but it was both of them, but more so her. But I realized that I had a prophetic gift at the church that I was attending before I went to Apostle Robin Davis's church, Jordan Outreach Center. At the time, it was called Gallagher Baptist Church. But I was at my other church, and God had been using me to work the altar along with my god sister. I don't think she's on, Amisha Miller, but we were both being used at that time to work the altar. Um, and then a prophet came to me within that church, Prophet Carlotta Lynch, and she told me like, "Hey, God is using you in the prophetic. You've been called to be a prophet." Um, I didn't know what that was because, mind you, I grew up in Baptist church, so
Right.
all this stuff was new to me, and I'm like, "What is she talking about?" So
Yes.
then the more I studied, and stuff like that, and then I think that's when I started my time of being on Periscope. If you know, that's an app, and that's why I met Janice. But
Yes.
Periscope app that I used to go on, and I used to pray and things, and do other things on there and sing what have you. But I left the church that I was at because some things had happened and I felt dead. I knew that I
Mm.
had a calling, and the church that I was at, um, be honest, throw it out there, they did not believe in it. They did not receive it. And I don't think you need to go to a Bible college and do all this and show
Yeah.
paperwork I ain't doing all that. So I started visiting my church,
Yes.
not my church, but my cousin's church, every other Sunday, and then I was just like, it's time to go. Um, Now, did I do that in decency and order? No, I didn't write no letter. I didn't do none of that until the bishop that I was leaving. I just left because in my eyes, I did not care anyways if I stayed
Yeah.
or left. And then when I left, actually, I got so much backlash. And I've
Wow.
never talked about this publicly, but I got so much backlash and so many messages from people at that church as I was at, talking about, oh, you're going to a church with the woman is a pastor and all
Uh,
these other things. And so it was a bunch of messages saying I wasn't called to preach. And I never said I was leaving to go preach. So,
yeah, Bessie.
so it was nothing like that. But being there, my cousin used me because she saw the gift in me, and started using me in that manner, working the altar and stuff. She didn't say, "Oh, go to the pulpit and you're preaching today." It was never like that. So she trained me, used me, had me teaching Bible study sometimes, had me singing on the praise team, taught me very good, valuable lessons, made me, clean the bathroom. I've talked about this on the podcast, but she taught me the ins and outs of ministry, and it's not always about grabbing the mic. It's not always about, you didn't get to prophesy this Sunday, so I'm offended, so I'm leaving. So, she taught me
Yeah.
it's okay to learn. It's okay to follow the vision of your leader, and not have your own agenda within the church when there's already a head of the church. You can't be the arm of the church trying to be the head. But so I learned a lot. Uh, Teddy, you're funny. But yeah, but yeah.
Wow. Okay. So no, you know what? I'm glad that we're having this interview because I'm learning a lot about you that I didn't know. Um, and it's allowing me to see you in a different light, not a bad light, but more of just the growth that from the last time, I guess from the very first time. So let me just say a quick let me give a quick rundown of it just so that everybody has an idea of how we kind of sort of met. Some people may have already know. You said it earlier. Malik and I met on Periscope. At the time, I was singing and Malik was doing his thing as well. And everyone knows with Periscope, Periscope is it locates different areas, if I can remember, different areas on there that you can kind of sort of tap in. And just like how you have the messages at the bottom or messaging, you would see certain people can type to whoever is the main person on the Periscope live. So I think I was singing. I think I was singing. I can't remember. I think I was
Yes.
singing, and I would just go in and just do a quick song or whatever, and I would come off. But there were moments where I was either in the dark or I would show myself very briefly. So at one point, I showed myself, and I guess when I was singing, I got made fun of. I was called a big head and look at your forehead. It was really nasty. And Malik came out of nowhere and he was like, "Hey, don't say that." And I think Malik probably followed the I think Malik followed the person to their page, and I don't know what happened after. We'll leave it at that. But I was very thankful because in that moment I was being bullied, and Malik was a person who saw it, and he was like sticking up for me pretty much. And I that's how I met Malik.
So to piggyback off of that, actually,
Yeah,
so when you talk about friendship, because I mean, I stuck up for you because I mean, we wasn't close, but I was on your Periscope a lot. I was a
yes,
frequent, viewer. So, I kind of looked at you as a friend, so to
yes.
speak. So, one thing about me is I take my friendships very hard. If I call you friend, because a lot of people know I don't use that friend word like, loosely. I
Same.
just meet you. You ain't, oh, that's my best friend. That's my friend. So I don't use it loosely. If I call you a friend, then you're my friend. And,
Yeah.
and I call Janice a friend, of course now, but I just didn't like what was being done. So I want to visit that real quick because you don't know what happened after that Periscope. So I want to let you know. So so I did follow him to his Periscope. I certainly did. Um, and I think he was just speaking about God or whatever he was talking about, and I called him out
Oh,
because you're not going to be on somebody's Periscope dogging them out and talking about them, but then you're gonna go on your Periscope and talk about Jesus and prophesying all this stuff. You did not you did not exemplify Jesus when you was talking about somebody. So I'm gonna call you out and I'm gonna let you know, this is what this man did on this Periscope, and you're following a false prophet, and that's exactly what I said because I mean, that's what it is.
yeah.
You're just not going to dog somebody out and then be like, oh, God, this, God, that. No, let me tell you who this man really is. So like I said, I am very real with my friends, very honest with my friends.
Yes.
My friends don't like that, and I call them weak. Um, Teddy, I thought you was asking a question. So Teddy is my best friend. He is right there. He said you also
Oh,
hold.
nice.
I do hold him accountable. So I call my friends out if they're wrong, and they can do that to me as well. But a lot of my
Nice.
friends, and I don't know if they're on or not, and I call them weak a lot because listen, I'm going to be honest and blunt with you because as friends, you should be able to do that. As friends, I shouldn't have to sugarcoat what I say to you. If you are doing wrong, I'm gonna let you know, like you shouldn't be doing that. Now I may be like, oh, you stupid, you shouldn't be doing,
Yeah, yeah.
but it should be all right to come from a friend than for a stranger to, say these things to you and have such an influence on your life. You don't even know who they are. But
Yeah.
But yeah, Teddy is on, and Teddy, you said you had a question because he texted me privately because he says crazy things. But if you have a question, Teddy, you can put it on the screen.
Yes, Teddy, come on, let us know. I think I see my friend Melissa Mel Grace.
Yes, I
Sent a
have been
text for
seeing that. I
Teddy.
have been seeing that pop up.
Yeah, that's my sister and friend. Thank you so much for coming, Mel. And his question, is he telling you on the side or?
No, I don't know if he's typing it or not, but you can go ahead.
Okay, yes. So thanks for letting me know because I didn't know that's what happened after on the Periscope.
Absolutely.
So as you can see, that's how we met, and that's why Malik and I are still friends to this day because he's very
Yeah.
no nonsense, and I'm very no nonsense too when it comes on to certain things. So we've just been very good friends. And for the record, I live in Canada. And Malik, where are
Yes.
you?
Where am I?
Yeah,
I'm in Charleston, West Virginia.
Virginia. That's what. Okay, I thought it was that, but I didn't want
Oh,
to
West
say the
Virginia.
wrong.
It's a different.
Oh, sorry, Charleston, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Let me make it right. Okay, so I think someone said tell us a little bit more about your personal life. Because I think we're on church for a little bit. So is there anything else in your personal life that you'd like to share with us that you think you would like us to know? I still have more questions, so let me know if you want me to continue with the questions or you want to touch on
So
your personal life.
so that was Teddy that said that.
Oh,
So Teddy, I just want to talk about him just a little bit. Teddy is
yeah.
not in the church, so that's why he said that.
Okay, no, that's fine, and that's
Teddy
okay.
is not a church goer.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows me on a more of a personal level than just church. Um, but you can continue with your questions, and then we can go into the personal side of it.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so we're gonna come away from the church scene. If we have to go back, we will. But my next question to you is: tell me something that you've gone through or that you are going through since probably about the last year to 3 years that you've either had to overcome and or achieved. So something that you think that you had to go through, that you had to overcome, whether it could be something personal, it could be something, I don't know. I don't know how that looks to you. You would know. But something that you've overcome or had to overcome, and something that you've achieved that you've been trying to go after for quite some time.
So something that I've overcome, and like I said, I already told you I'm going to be real and raw.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I have overcome is a bad relationship that I was in prior to being with Gabby. Um, and I don't mind being real. So I was dating, or as people call it, a situationship. Dealing
Yeah.
with a married woman
Oh.
for 6 years. So yeah. So and the people that may be watching this that know of that person, you could I don't this ain't trying to I ain't trying to be messy about anything, but something that I overcame dealing with that. So it was a bad, if you want to call it a breakup or not. With that breakup happened, and then just other things that was dealing with, just being alone. So because I recently at that time, when all this had happened, I had recently moved into this apartment by myself. Um, Teddy. I had recently moved in by myself, and just being alone. I still deal with the death of my grandmother, even though it's been years. You don't get over death. So
Yeah.
people get on my nerves with, "Oh, you still dealing with that?" It's
Yeah.
nothing that you get over, but and it was just stuff piled on top of one thing after another that I was dealing with personally. And at that time, I didn't really have anybody to talk to about it. So I found myself in a psych ward. At
Oh.
General Hospital here in Charleston, West Virginia. I was there for almost a month, medicated. I had a mental breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
So when everything had happened, when the things had happened, I had came home. This is what led me into going to the psych ward. I went home and I was drinking, drinking, like not just, I was chugging the bottle. I was cutting myself.
Oh.
And I do believe, I don't know who I called, But whoever I called, they reached out to my mom, and I think my mom reached out to somebody, and I think they did a wellness check. I don't remember how it all because I was just out of my mind, and I remember answering the door because somebody was banging on my door. Mind you, I was drunk, bleeding and everything, all this crazy stuff. And it was, I believe, an EMT. I don't know. I really don't remember. But
Mm-hmm.
I just remember waking up in the hospital, uh, you know, and then I remember waking up again. I was in the psych ward, strapped down to the bed,
Oh
uh,
wow.
because I was a suicide patient.
Okay.
I did try to kill myself, and that was not the first time I've ever tried to kill myself. It has been multiple occasions, but this particular one, I found myself in the psych ward. So you talk about overcoming. I overcame, suicide. A lot of people don't
Nice.
overcome that, but I did. And I'm grateful for the people that prayed for me. I'm grateful for the people that came to visit me, the people that I wanted to come, because my mom asked me a question, and I said, call my cousin, Apostle Robin. So she came, she prayed for me. I was not in the right state of mind when she had came, but there was a glimpse of hope. It let me know that it was not my time. And then after her visiting with me, I just looked around, and I don't know if anybody's ever been on a psych ward in a psych ward on here, but when you look around, there's people really out of their mind.
Oh wow.
People, I've witnessed people banging their head up against the wall, just different things that I witnessed, and then I you know looked within myself, and I was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You're not crazy. Like, it's a
You
roommate
ain't
you
that
got,
bad. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like, what are you doing here? So, I told him, I said, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. So they released me, but of course, they released me with medication. So I took that medication. I want to say for like a month. It was depression medication and sleeping pills because I had trouble sleeping. And then I returned back to work because I was off from work for a while. But then when I came back, went back to work, the first night I left because I just couldn't handle it. It was the medication.
Mm-hmm.
Had me I felt like a zombie. I don't know if anybody's ever had depression medication, but it gives you no emotion. It gives you no feelings. So I feel like I was just walking around, just
Mm.
living, but not living at the same time. So I stopped that medication. I stopped taking it because I said, this is not for me. I've never been a person on medication. So I stopped that, and I've been without medication for like 3 years now. So I don't take medicines at all,
Thank
unless I
God.
get a headache. But you said something that I've achieved, and I want to touch on that as well. Something that I've achieved is, I would say, this podcast. I achieved that, and I think that's for me, one of my biggest achievements because, a lot of people put their mind to something, but they don't do it. And I've always been a person, if I put my mind to it, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to invest my money, my time, and all
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, I'm just, might as well do it. Um, but yeah, that's it. I mean, and I have more if you want me to share. I don't mind.
I'm just, you know
Yeah.
what? I know this is so long ago, but I'm gonna say it because um our relationship as friends have always been, checking in on each other and, seeing how we're doing, like what life is looking like. And I just want to say I'm sorry. Like, and I say that from my heart because I didn't know you were going through. I think we've touched base on it very briefly, but I think you were also kind of you were in a place of just kind of keeping to yourself. So we didn't get too in depth with those what you just shared. And I just want to say I'm sorry for not prying and pushing,
Yeah.
because you're telling me this, and it's moving my heart because I genuinely take you as a friend. like, you know,
Yes.
and to know that you went through that, and I didn't kind of just say, hey, what's going on? Like, you know, I didn't pry as, you know, how we may pry now in each other's lives. But it's you've come a long way, Malik. Like, I don't see that person. Like, when you're talking about it, I'm like, wait, where was I for this? Because I met you like how long ago? So
We have known each other for 10 years. I just want to let you know that. Yeah. So, but there's been so much. So I understand you know, you say you're sorry, but I mean, it's not your fault. Because
yeah.
I didn't share this with anybody. And that's just one occasion. There's been so many. I mean, if we want to talk about other occasions, because I really want to help people tonight.
Of course.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you can overcome suicidal thoughts. I remember the first time I've ever tried to do anything to kill myself. And I don't know if my mom remembers this or not, but I was just going through a lot. I just lost my grandmother. Maybe I'd say maybe going into 2 years of transitioning from being with my grandmother for 13 years,
Oh wow.
going to my mom's. But I was just depressed. But at that young age, you know, you don't know how to express depression. I don't, you know, I didn't know who to talk to, or so I just went through a stage of just some crazy things I was doing. But then I wrote my mom a letter,
Hmm.
actually, expressing to her that I had been molested growing up, um, and that I was going to kill myself. And I was molested by someone in our family. So then I proceeded to leave the house. I took a knife with me and I had left. I left and I had thought in my mind that that was going to be the last day that I was going to live. Um, so I remember that night, you know, just laying. I went to our civic center actually, and we have steps. If you see our civic center, there's steps, and then you can go underneath the steps. But I laid there, and I took some pills, and I was just going to, you know, end it all. But I did not, and I don't know why I didn't. I don't know. I just didn't do it. So that is something else that I've overcame. You know, dealing with molestation, being silent for years, not saying anything, because I don't know if anybody's witnessed molestation or been in molestation. You know, you think it's normal when you're in it, because you don't know. You don't know. I've never been introduced to anything sexual or anything like that. So it became my norm for so many years that I guess I put on a mask and just dealt with it the best way I could. And then, you know, things just came out, dealing with depression, dealing with the loss of my grandmother, just different things. So then I decided to tell my mom that, um, another thing, and I'm not trying to be, you know, be a Debbie Downer on her, y'all.
No, you no. You're sharing it. I like, please do.
Sharing because, you know, I feel like this will help somebody, hopefully. So another thing that I've dealt with within the past year, and I don't know if Teddy is still on, but I wasn't pregnant clearly, but both of our girlfriends were pregnant at the same time. Um, so you know, you have all these thoughts in your mind of, and me and him had talked about things we were going to do with our children, and you know, plans and things. You know, so losing our baby, you know, and going through that was sad. Um, was sad, but then you know, seeing him have his son, you know, I could say I'm a bit envious, and it does bring back things, even to this day. You know, seeing him get the chance to have his kid, and knowing that my child would be the same age as his kid, so it brings back some things. It does hurt at times. Now, every time it does not hurt when I see, you know, him with his son, but it does bother me at times because, you know, a year, has been passed, I could be doing the same things that he's doing with his kids. So, that hurt is still there somewhat. But you have to overcome things, and you have to pray on things, and you can't dwell on them. Of course, because we have our baby's ashes and stuff like that. So it's a constant reminder that you this would have been. But you have to learn how to pray through things. You have to learn how to not stay down and depressed. Give yourself time to feel the emotions, of course, but don't stay in it. Don't stay there. Don't stay in depression. And I also, I recognize that, everything happens for a reason. It's cliche, everybody says it, but it's true. So, I take that, and, as there was times in that time period, I blame God because, why? That's a typical question everybody has if you go through, losing a child. Um, why would you not give me my child, but you give somebody else's theirs? Why? What did we do that was so wrong that we have to suffer, the loss, or carry this on our back? Um, but there's always a silver lining, and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I tell myself, it wasn't time, and then I tell myself, well, maybe later, or there's possibilities we could have another child. So give yourself time to heal through your life situations. Give yourself time to feel the emotions and continue on, and be a testament to others that you can make it through anything. Whatever you may be going through, you can make it, and you can make it out of the psych ward. You can make it through loss of a child. You can make it through the times where you feel like you're not going to make it. You can make it through. And I've made it through a lot of these storms alone. Um, Not because nobody was there. They didn't know. How can you help somebody if you don't know? So I would just say, time does heal all wounds, and you can make it.
Wow. I'm just sitting here absorbing all of this because believe it or not, it's I'm sure it's helping a lot of people on here, and it's also helping me in my own personal life and personal walk. Um, I want to take it back. I want to take it back to you said something earlier that I don't want to say everyone goes through that because I don't think everyone walks around and do something like that. But you stated that you were in a relationship with a married woman. Um, what would you tell someone who is with someone that is married? Whether it looks like they're the side chick, side piece, whatever you want to refer to it as, what would you say knowing that you were in it once upon a time? What kind of, I don't want to say encouragement because I don't even know, you can't even encourage that, but what could you say to them? What questions should they ask themselves? Like, what would you say to them?
Being in that situation,
Yes.
what questions?
Or, what question would you tell them to ask yourself? Being in that situation, how would you?
Um, I would say the first question that I would ask, revisiting that for myself, is why? Like, why? Why do you feel um, that you need to be in love with somebody that's married? Um, as crazy as that sounds, like, why do you feel like you need to, like you said, be the side piece
Mhm.
when they have already shown you that they're not going to be loyal, clearly, because they're cheating on their
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah.
Um, when they've already shown, so it's like you're setting yourself up for failure. And then I can look on this now and be like, "Wow, you're stupid." But
Yeah.
you know, you set
Yes.
yourself up. People told you things, and I'm not bashing her at all, But when you already knew what the outcome was going to be. Um,
Yeah.
you've had signs, you've had people tell you things. Um, she's married, cheating on her husband. So why do you expect somebody to be in love with you when they don't even love the person that they're currently with? So in that situation, and I'll be honest, it wasn't all bad. It was not all bad. And it wasn't all good. So so a lot of times, you get blinded by and we're gonna be raw, you get blinded by the sex, you get blinded by the thrill of of cheating and not being caught. You get I'm just going through my emotions, how I felt during that time. You get blinded by they're saying they love you. You get blinded by, oh, we're taking these trips together. You get blinded by all that. And treating everybody else like crap. In my time in that relationship, I left the church that I was at. I left Apostle Robin's church. There was drama there. I left. And I don't want to blame it all on the person that I was talking to. I take accountability. I chose to leave. I chose to cause chaos and confusion within the church. I played a part. So a lot of times, sometimes you do anything for love, or
Yeah.
what you thought was love.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, is if you're in it, get out of it, because it's not love, and it's not going to end the way you think it's going to end. Don't be stupid and be that person. When people tell you, when they may tell you, I'm going to leave my husband, I'm going to leave my wife. Don't be stupid. If they ain't left yet, they ain't going to leave. They're not going to do it.
Right.
So
Right.
don't waste your time. When I look back on it, 6 years I wasted out of my life dealing with something that I thought could have been. Um, in my 20 to what 27, I would say, around that range, I dealt with that, with the constant. It was very toxic, a very toxic situation. I became somebody that I did not even know when I look back on it now. um do I regret it? No, because I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I grew a lot from that, and I know what not to do. Clearly, not to sleep with somebody that's
Right.
married. Hello. But take the marriage out. Don't stay with somebody that is never going to give you the time or day. That's never going to um, make you an important part of their life. That's going to, make that post on Facebook saying, "Oh, this is my boo. This is my honey." You know, if they ain't doing that, and if you're all right with being a secret all the time, then you need to do some soul searching. Because if you like to be hidden in the dark, and people would tell me
Right.
like, "You're okay with that?" I mean, yeah, at the time I was, but
Yeah.
now looking
Yeah.
back, like, I'm a secret out here wasting my time, money,
Yeah.
life. um, you know, and what did I
Yeah.
get from it? I got nothing from it. I got nothing from it.
Yeah.
So don't waste your time. Don't, in any relationship, not just
Yeah.
that situation, but any relationship. Don't waste your time being a
Right.
secret. Don't, if they love you, love shows up, and love is an action word. If you ain't feeling that action, and if it ain't showing up, then you need to show yourself out the door.
100%. That's good. Um, this is some real stuff.
I
I don't
told
think
you.
I don't I don't think we have enough. We probably might have to do a part two. But I'm just it's like a, what do you call those Spanish soap opera, a telenovela? It's like a telenovela. Like this is, But I like the fact that you're keeping it 100, and I obviously that's who I know you to be. So I'm not surprised that we're having these kind of conversations, because you're a real person at the end of the day. Um,
And
moving on.
if you do want to do a part two, we can. I mean, that is okay, because I mean I have a lot to say, and I try to keep it within. And what 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 the did okay? What
What
did the
what did
Lord
the
say
Lord
about
say
that
about this
situation?
situation?
About what situation? About me being and with the
I
married
think
woman.
she's talking. Yeah, I think it's that one.
I didn't care what the Lord had to say because I was not in church. I was not.
You weren't hearing it.
So if we want to get funky and break it down, at the beginning we were just friends,
Right.
and then it developed into something else. So when all that happened, I wasn't caring about what the Lord was saying. You know, I can say that. I can truly say that. I didn't care about what he said. Now he may have said, "Don't do this," but I was like, this is good. This feels good. This is sin. Sin feels good. So you didn't care. I didn't care what the Lord was saying. If that answers
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I hope it answered your question.
That's
But
real.
yes, a part two, if you would like, whenever you're free, if you want to do it next weekend, I don't care because we are at hour 15. But if you don't want to go, we don't have to go.
No, yeah, I would definitely do a part two because we want to leave the people in suspense.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then I'm sure they'll tell a friend to tell a friend to come
I'll let you
back.
tell his business. Get on the line.
So I just before I wrap up, I do have a few more pressing questions,
Yeah,
and then we'll definitely have a part two, and we can always talk about it after. Well, we'll talk about that after in terms of the next day, because I really do believe that you have more to give back, not to get into your business, and not because you're an honest person, do we want to just spotlight, but we want to make sure that for you and your podcast and what you have going on, you're reaching the people. Because I
yeah,
think at the end of the day, that's your ultimate goal, if I would think so, is to
yeah,
help somebody out,
absolutely.
wherever they are, or meet them where they are, wherever they are in their walk, whether it's with God, without God, or, just trying to make their way back.
Yeah.
So definitely a part two does need to happen for sure. So we'll definitely touch base on that after. But I guess my next question is, you said that you were molested, Malik. That's another whole can of worms that it, it's one of those things where it's very sensitive, very touchy. Um, if you were speaking to somebody who is or who was molested, what would you say to them?
Um. So is and was. I'll reply to both of those. Is and was molested. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Um. So that's a twofold question because sometimes people get molested not by family, by a friend of the family or just somebody you don't know really. So if it's family, I know a lot of times people don't speak up because you know. I wasn't raised in this type of family, but what stays in the house, stays in the house. Don't tell nobody your business. Don't do this,
Yeah,
that, third. And then you feel like, oh well, maybe I shouldn't say anything because it is family, not because you're being forced to shut up. Because I was never forced to not say anything. I just want to make that clear. No, the person never told me, don't say nothing, don't tell nobody. So that was never told to me. Um, I was just quiet for so long because, like I said, that was the norm for me. And I'm not going to do any names and all that because my family knows.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's fine. You don't have to.
But don't be afraid to ask for help, even if it may, people may look at your family crazy, and be like, oh, that's going on in the Burger household, or that's going on, or whatever. Don't be afraid. Seek help. You got to get out of that because that is damaging. Luckily I was never raped. I was never raped, so I will say that, or anything like that. But I know people, in molestation, it goes farther from just being touched. It begins to get sexual. I don't want to be too explicit, but it begins to get like that. Just don't be afraid to speak up. Um, Find somebody that you trust or you feel you can trust that will, if you feel like you can't speak, but somebody that will speak for you. You gotta get out of it, because it's very detrimental to your mental. to your physical being. Um, so speak up. And it's crazy to me because I've always been, and then when I look back on it now, I've always been a vocal person, always through my whole life. But in that kind of situation, sometimes you feel like your voice is silenced. You're afraid. You are
Yeah.
afraid to even say anything. You just go with it and hope that it stops. Um, but if it doesn't stop, what do you do? Because in some families, they ain't gonna believe. They won't believe you. Oh, such and such did this. They'll be like, "Oh, shut up," and be quiet. You're young.
Yeah.
So it's always, you never know. So I think that's why a lot of people are afraid. You know, and a lot of people don't speak out. I'm reminded of, I don't know if anybody's watched the movie Woman Thou Art Loosed, and the scene where the girl got raped by the guy, but the mother actually, people were telling the mother like, I don't trust this guy. I don't, and the girl even went to her and said, I don't feel comfortable, being around him. But some people don't care about the signs. And this is not my situation.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
I'm just saying, she even got raped and then told her mother, and then her mother didn't believe her. So you see that a lot. But then, later on in the scene, the mother kind of questioned him, and but you have to watch the movie. But I think a lot of people are afraid of not being heard and not being believed. But I will say, do it anyways. Speak your truth, and just keep speaking. Don't
Yeah.
be silent and get out of the situation. Um,
Yeah.
if you got to fight for your life, like Celie did in The Color Purple, you better fight. You better fight.
Thank you, Malik, for that. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm sure you've encouraged and you have put a lot of things in someone's you've provoked thoughts tonight. And I think that's the main goal is to help and to, provoke these kind of conversations. Again, your podcast is Let's Have a Conversation, and it's just real and uncut. And I like those kind of people because you know what you're gonna get. It's real and uncut. Um,
Before we get off, I don't know if you have another. Do you have another question?
not on this topic because we're gonna do a part two,
Okay.
but just to end it off, it's just my ending few questions, and then yeah. But what were you gonna say? Tell us.
So I will say, man, I have 22 minutes, but I will say, this is what this podcast is for. Auntie Mika, every time you come on, I just get so honored because she is never on Facebook. But anyways,
Uh,
thank you for coming on, Auntie Mika. But I will. I like to say that this is what this podcast is about. Now I've had a few people on that I'll be honest. I don't think they really understood the just. I want you to come on here and be open and honest and real. This is a
yeah,
no judgment zone. I've had a couple people on, and I guess they was afraid to tell their truth. Like, if you got raped, say it.
yeah.
If you was a prostitute, say it. If
Deliver
you
yourself. Yeah,
yeah, tell your story, all of it. Don't just tell the
yeah.
good part. Tell the dirty, 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 dirty part. Let's be real.
Yeah,
But this is a safe place, and I try to
right.
reiterate that when I send out the message and invite people. You can come on here and it be judgment free. If somebody comes on here and get ugly with you, I'm gonna get ugly with them back. So this is free. A free place for you to tell your story. Um, this is why I'm glad that you offered to do this, Janice,
Yes,
because I
I.
tell people all the time, if you want me to be, I'm honest. Even if you ask
Yeah,
me not to be
yeah,
honest, I'm gonna be honest with
yeah,
you. I don't like the sugarcoat stuff.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, this is what this is about. So I'm glad I have a forum. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yes.
Of what this should be like. Um,
Yeah.
so if I have to be the example, so be it. Okay,
But of
Jan.
course, I mean, if it's your podcast, right? So why not be the example? You lead
Yes.
by the example, and then you just hope for people to follow or feel comfortable to follow. you
Yes.
know. But just to end, we're gonna close off because we're definitely gonna talk about um, the part two to it and what that conversation is gonna look like. Um, but what are some of your goals that you have coming up? What does life look like for Malik in the next week, months, maybe a year? I seen that your best friend asked, "What do you see yourself, or where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I personally know this to your friend. All respect to it to them. Um, I don't like that 5 years. Like I like to measure it in like 1 to 3 because it's so much more realistic.
Yeah.
But we're gonna put that in there and we're gonna say 1 to 5 years. What does that look like for you? Do you have anything carved out for you that you have coming up? Anything exciting?
So I want to break it down like how you presented it. So let's do the week first.
Okay.
Within the next week, I
Yes.
will be preparing to do these two podcasts that I have coming up. So everybody stay tuned. I posted the flyer, but hopefully I can squeeze in Laura in there, Prophetess Laura Deegan, and then I have somebody that I'm working with currently, kind of a big name here in Charleston. I'm working on that, trying to get some dates figured out with him. A book. I don't know about all that, but
And wait, hold on. It's funny that um is her name Tamika? Tamika Robinson said a book because I had the thought earlier and it slipped me. I was gonna say that you need a book, Malik. You need to share. And then she said it. So I was like, wow, thank you for bringing it back to my
you
mind.
know, I have thought about a book. We're gonna touch on that. Let me finish this, and I'm gonna get on that book.
Yes.
So that I'm preparing for that. Within the month, I'm working on that. The night of worship, the 2 hour night of worship, and I need to talk to you about that as well. I want you to do some poetry. So
Wow, the
I
calling.
actually want you to do because you did that video and oh, it was so good. I really liked it. Recently
Okay.
you posted it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay,
So
yeah,
I
I
was
was
like,
there.
oh, Janice, duh, she knows how to do poetry. But anyways, so I'm working on that. Now, if we want to do a year, within a year, I want to do a conference. I know that's going to take some money.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's going to take some time. So I want to say 2 years, within 2 years. And I wanted to be, let's have a conversation, conference. I don't want to do a church. It's going to be church incorporated in it.
Yeah.
That's poetry, Lenora, because Lenora. So I'm all over the place. So Lenora talked to me, and I'm gonna get back on what I was saying so we can get off of here. But Lenora was talking to me about poetry, and I told her I'm not a poetry person. I don't really care for poetry. I mean, I don't really think it's interesting. Um, but Janice actually, it's two people that I find interesting doing poetry. So Janice, when she does poetry, I find that interesting. I can get with it. I've always liked her poetry.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate that.
she's one, you're welcome. She's always been one that I love to hear her do poetry and singing. Uh, and also Teresa, she's a well-known poet out here in Charleston, very good poetry. And I enjoy that. Now, if you're going up there doing poetry, you ain't got nothing to say, I ain't interested. Uh, yes, when Janice was on your podcast. Yes, she was on here before. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who is this? Sorry, y'all. Sometimes I feel like I have ADHD. But anyways, because I'll be all over the place. Okay, so yes, the poetry. Back to the conference. Okay, so I want to do a conference where people have the chance to come and tell their story. I'm going to do sessions. Like I would love to have you down here. We want to figure that out. I mean, we got 2 years. I want to do it in two
Mm-hmm.
years. And with me, when I set a goal, it's going to happen. So in 2 years, expect to come down here. And just different people.
Right.
Um, because I get tired of seeing the same old people down here in Charleston doing the same old things. We need to do something bigger, better. So, anyways,
Right.
I'm planning that. That's my next goal. In doing a conference. And if you want to say 5 years, I don't know where I would be in 5 years. I plan on not being at the job that I'm at, Lord willing. I plan on being from there. Um, and who's to say? Maybe I'll have my own church by then. You never know. Um, I've always been, prophesied to. You're a pastor. You're called to pastor, and I'll be looking at them like, you don't want me to pastor, but you know, uh, you never know. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
always very sensitive to what God will have me to do. Shut up, Lenora. Um, so you never know. But let's see. And that was it, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. You did. I don't have any more. I'm looking through my questions to make sure I hit every
Oh,
single
the
one.
book.
I did.
Okay, the
The book,
book.
yeah.
So I've always wanted to write a book, but I've always been afraid to write a book because if I'm going to write a book, I'm going to tell it all with names included. So I've always thought about that because with my story, I mean, people would have to be mentioned because they're
Yeah,
part of my story, be it good or bad. It's the truth. So if they try to come up against me, I ain't lying.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
know, I,
I get it.
I've been thinking about writing a book, and you'd be the perfect person to help me do so. But so whenever I'm ready to do that, then I will reach out to you. But as for right now, a book is not in my goals. Um,
Okay. Can I just say one thing on
yes,
that?
you can.
Yeah, yeah, sure. You can always reach out to me on that. But just just because I went through the process of it all, because you're thinking about it, it's in your mind. So because it's in your mind and you're thinking about it, just start writing. It doesn't have to be you're publishing the book tomorrow, or you're publishing it next week, next month, next year, 2 years from now. Just write, because sometimes I know some memories won't escape our mind, but how you want to get the point across might. So just write. And whether it's you open a Word document, Microsoft, whatever you use, pop it in there and just keep adding. Because that's how I started my book. I just wrote, and then
So
it came to that.
the funny thing is, I do write.
Hmm.
I do have a journal where nobody knows where it is. That I know where it is because I don't need nobody looking at it, and from time to time I write in it, But like you said, yeah, just write. So who knows what the future holds? Who knows? But I am very grateful for you giving me this space because I had never, I've never thought about being on here and talking about myself and being so candid because
Yes.
I only know how to be one way, and that's me, and that's honest, real, and raw. Um, like it or not, oh well, I don't care.
Yep.
I've learned to not care about the opinions of others, but I had something else to say, but I don't know what it
It
was.
escaped. You were saying that you're thankful for me to give you that space. Maybe it might come back.
Yes. No, before that, I told you I think I do have ADHD because my mind be in my mind. If somebody could be in my mind, it'd be like that's what I
Yeah,
feel
same
going on in
here.
my mind.
It's all over. So
Yeah,
many thoughts you want to get out.
yeah.
But I just want to take the time to also just acknowledge a few people that I've got the opportunity to meet through Malik while online. Apostle Robin Davis. I just want to shout her out. That's
Yeah.
Malik's family as well, and Pastor Tim Davis. I know them. I'm associated with them on Facebook, and I just want to say, encouraging you guys to continue doing the work of the Lord. And I'm acknowledging because I didn't do that earlier, so my apologies. Just want to acknowledge those who are in ministry as well. Anyone else that's on here that's in ministry, I acknowledge you, and just continue doing the work of God. You know, it's a kingdom movement at this point.
Yes.
And I don't have any more questions. That is my time with Malik right now, tonight, I should say. But we definitely will have a part two. Granted, Malik gives the go ahead and when he's ready, whether it's next week or the week after. But we'll touch base on that after this.
When
And
she gives the go ahead, because y'all know I ain't busy, but she is busy, and she is a mother, so if she said tomorrow, I'd be ready because I ain't doing nothing. But yeah,
Yes, I will definitely give you that. I'm just gonna converse it over with my husband because he has to watch my son while I'm here. But
exactly.
I'll definitely connect with you on that. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Malik's podcast. Let's have a conversation podcast. I was honored to be the interviewer and or guest interviewer on here, and I'm so glad that I did. And I'm looking forward to part two. Thank you guys all for coming, and I hope you have a wonderful night. I'm signing off. Malik, if you want to hit me up after, you can.
Yeah, just
But
stay on.
oh, I can stay on. Okay, perfect. All
Okay.
right, cool, no problem. Thank you all for coming, and I hope that you have a wonderful night. Thanks again, Malik, for taking the time.
Thank you for getting all this stuff out of me. All right, bye, y'all. Oh,
Bye.
before she gets off, what you can get off it. Stay on. So I
Yes.
want you all to stay tuned because I got to say this for stay tuned. Look at the flyers. Like, share, and follow my page because I don't know what y'all got going on out here. I need y'all to go and follow my other page on my actual Let's Have a Conversation page. Please go and follow that.
Yes.
I need the views, and I ain't gonna lie, I love to have the money. So the more views I get, the more interactions or comments, it provides me with money. And if you would like more podcasts, I would like to get paid. So maybe one day I could quit my job and I could just do this as a whole. But anyway,
100%. 100%. I get it.
yes, I ain't gonna lie
Yes.
to everybody else. I ain't in it for the money. I'm trying to get paid too. But thank you all. And I hope you all have a great night and look forward to some more flyers with some more guests and all this other thing. All right, love y'all.
Take care.